Born in Boston, Massachusetts, Nicholas Santangelo Schwartz, or Nicky as he's known to his friends, is one of these people who is so ridiculously talented in so many areas, it's funny. But it's not only music where his talents lie, isn't that right, Nicky? Actually, sports.
Board sports. I was a competitive skateboarder when I was a teenager, and
when you say competitive skateboarder, you mean, you won stuff.
Yeah, I won some weeks at summer camp.
You actually had half pipes in your house, or is that right?
Yes, my best friend and I built a whole skate park there with rails and boxes and.
Fantastic. And anything with a board.
Yeah, that translated to also snowboarding, wakeboarding, and actually nowadays, I live in Holland, I've gotten into kite surfing, so I'm also doing that now.
Wow. Alongside of all of this, you're also doing music.
Yeah, so my mom was a classically trained pianist, and my dad is a big music lover, so they took me to concerts since I was really young, and since I really hated it. And it was, they persisted, because it was only years later when I took to the bass, and not for classical, actually, for jazz, that I started to play in youth orchestras, to do classical etudes, to little pieces, and one thing led to another, and here I am.
So, at some point you decide, okay, I've got to take the bass seriously, classical bass seriously. You're studying in Boston, and those studies eventually you decide to come over to Europe to study. Why was that?
I just thought that Europe had a history of playing more in a kind of musical-oriented way rather than just like a technical and kind of perfectionist kind of way.
The American school is extremely precise, extremely everything is perfect.
Yeah.
Once you've tasted Europe, it's very difficult to come back. Is that what you found?
I felt like when I moved to Berlin, I had to unlearn everything. Not to be stuck in these kind of like scholastic ways of doing things.
Right. And that was helped, of course, by the fact that you were in the Academy for the Berlin Philharmonic. What an incredible opportunity. How long does that last? And
2 years. After 1 month, I got the job here in Amsterdam.
And then the rules say that you can't be in the Academy if you've got a job.
If you get a job, you have to leave, basically. So.
Sorry about that.
I managed to stay the rest of the season, but after that, I moved to Amsterdam.
So you come here to Amsterdam, and I'm going to say this publicly, you're punching way above your weight by the fact that you've married the lovely Anna. How did you get to meet her?
We met in Brazil. I was going to this chamber music festival in Brazil, and the baggage handlers were having a strike in Lisbon, where the plane was connecting, and my bass didn't arrive. And she saw me there arriving with just my bow case. At the end of the day, I was just totally wasted. This terrible long trip, and the bar was about to close, and I sat just next to her, and she was so gracious enough to hand me her drink and introduce herself. The rest is history.
The rest is history. Well, so you play a lot together now as chamber musicians and go around the world, but you're not just playing the bass, you're playing the cello, and you're playing the cello, or the mini bass as I like to call it, to a whole new level. You're going to go and study the cello as well, right?
Yeah, so I don't know when the idea started, but I remember back in school I already kind of was interested. One of the teachers who I was playing bass for said, if you ever thought of playing the cello, like, come talk to me. And I have since then. And so I thought, let's just do a summer project. And I borrowed probably one of these cellos for the summer. And I just kept with it. And I talked already with like Gregor.
Gregor, who's our solo cellist.
Colleague. I played for him a couple of times. And I was planning actually to apply for a master's. I never did a master's in Düsseldorf.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, I hope we don't lose you to the cello group. That would really upset me. You're such a breath of fresh air, Nicky, and an astonishingly fine bass player, and with so many gifts. Nicky, thank you for being you. Thank you for coming to speak to me, and God bless you and everything that you do in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dominic.